It seems, how long has it been?
It's been 3 weeks. Hey guys, it's been
Weeks.
3 weeks we've been off, but it feels like it was just like a blink of an eye. And I had a little bit of a meltdown today, and I wanted to delete all my social media and just leave the show and take a break. And it's like, if I leave the show, Gina will kill me. And see, y'all can see social media is still running for me. No, I can't leave this.
No, you can't.
But I'm back. I'm still on this show. This is the only show I'm doing. There are times when I think that I want to bring back a fireside chat, and it's like, that means another day. Hey, Colette, she stayed awake. Look. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just drawing back from the social media part, so we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah. Well,
I'm win the lottery and never have to work again. Yeah.
well, I'm glad that you are here. Tonight I'm sporting the ginormous eyelashes because
I have nothing.
my eyelash lady, when I was having those lashes put on, individual lashes and whatnot, and I love them because you could just get up and go and look like your makeup was done without no makeup. It's like I loved it. But then she went and had a baby. It's like,
Wow.
how dare her? Like, I'm like, come on, you got to get back to work. Let's go. I need
Just do my eyes. Tell what everybody else is do Gina's eyes. Damn it.
So now I'm trying to have some kind of lashes, and these are huge, and these were like the smallest one in this big kit.
Okay, so in other words, if they start to fall off and your eyebrows start to droop during your show, I'll just sit there and giggle at you.
If I start doing this, I'm not having a stroke. It's the eyelashes. Okay. So enough of that. But tonight's show is going to be great. We have the Jil M Jackson with us, and she's such a love already. We've been talking to her for a little bit, and she was kind enough to switch weeks. Maureen, that we had scheduled this week, she had it on her calendar as Monday, and she couldn't do Thursday. So she asked if someone who we had scheduled, which was Jill, next week could switch. Jill kindly said okay. So then I had to scramble and read her book for this week, which I've already read the other one for next week.
So am I going to have to go retail therapy shopping for this one as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good book. Okay, so let me play the video about her and then get her on here, because you're gonna love her.
Oh yeah.
This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Jil M Jackson. She is an internationally celebrated psychic medium, spiritual teacher, and published author. She is the recipient of the prestigious Psychic of the Year Award for 2015 and 16 from the Best American Psychics, as well as its 2014 Social Activism Award for her volunteer work with animals. As a spiritual teacher and a spiritual mentor, Jill works with clients to ignite their innate sacred gifts. Seeing her students undergo this magical transformation is a joy to Jill and her soul, and their testimony speaks to her passion and brilliance as a mentor. Jill became an award-winning author with the advent of her book, Secrets of the Secret, one of her proudest accomplishments. She added even more material and republished this book under the title Manifesting Your Magic in the 5D, going beyond the laws of attraction. Her authorial debut was Mississippi Medium, My Journey from Southern Baptist to Talking to the Dead, a must-read for anyone on the path of awakening. It continues to receive 5-star reviews. Jill's own story is one for the books. She earned her bachelor's degree in accounting and money management and became a certified public accountant. For years, Jill worked in the business world with her intuitive gifts working in the background until the point where Spirit nudged her to work in a different direction. We are eager to learn more about you, your path, what you have to offer, and we welcome you to the Fox Den. Jill and everyone.
Hi, Jill. Welcome to the show. Now, that video, I just have to say, you know how picky I am, Mama, about my videos. Well, when I found out that we were switching and I had to do this one quickly, this was the first time I had read the bio, and I just did it in one take. And because it actually had all the words there. I mean, there was a couple little things, but I was like, I have been not feeling well for like a week and a half, so I didn't want to risk the chance of
Losing voice.
doing it again. Yeah, losing voice. 500 takes later. So I just
Yeah,
went.
because she's been known to take a what is this, a 2-minute video and take all day to do it.
Oh,
Because
wow.
she's her own worst critic. To be like, no, I gotta change. No, I gotta do this. Oh, I got like, Gina, it's fine. Oh, it doesn't have to be fine. It needs to be perfect. It's
Right.
not perfect. for Gina.
Amazing, Gina.
Oh yeah, she works hard.
Oh,
on these things.
well, thanks. I wasn't fishing for compliments. I was just kind of
It's
like,
not a compliment. It's the truth.
I was just saying, like, the speech to me was like, because I was reading it and for the first time. So usually when I read it like the second time, I know where to have my inflections or whatever. So
It was amazing.
thank you so much. So Jill, we've been talking, so I feel like I'm getting to know you, and I definitely like you. I feel like we're connecting. I gotta just say, well, we'll start off with, when did you realize and what happened to you when you first found out you were a psychic medium?
Well, I was a young child. I've been able to see the spirit world ever since I can remember. But back then, I could not hear them. I could only see them. My clairaudience, the hearing part, didn't come in until I was 12 years old, and my grandmother passed away. And she floated above my bed and telepathically communicated clairaudiently. And that's when I realized that I could hear the spirit world. But I thought everybody could see spirit, so I didn't quite understand that it was a gift. Yeah, I've had it my whole life.
Yeah, that is so funny. Like our grandparents, my grandfather died and he appeared at the foot of my bed. I could see him, I could hear him. He was telling me, he was telling me, they're grabbing my feet, they're grabbing my feet, they're grabbing my feet. He was a little Italian man, okay? And I get up and I don't know how, 5, 6, maybe something like that, young. And I told my mom, I said, Grandpa was in my room last night and said someone was grabbing his feet. She was crying and he had passed that night before. We weren't allowed to go. There's a big Italian family. All the cousins were not allowed to go, as he was home hospiced and whatnot. But he was saying that, I got to do this for my honey, that's my baby. But he was saying, and he stuttered as an Italian, and he was saying that they're grabbing my feet. He said there were gremlins grabbing the blankets off his feet. So he was telling that to my aunts and uncles and my mom, and she's like, well, how do you know this? How did you hear that? I said, I told you, Grandpa told me.
Yeah.
But, like where you said that you can see them and not hear them. When my grandmother died, she showed up at the foot of my bed. I could see the mouth moving, but I couldn't hear anything.
Interesting. How old were you then?
That was a couple of years after that.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
Isn't that
and
fascinating?
I have not seen, things to that perfectly since then. I mean, I see some things here and there, but my house here, I saw the guy on the 3rd floor, saw him very clearly, you know what I mean? Didn't say nothing except for when we were investigating. He says a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you never wanted to study mediumship, huh, Gina?
Because I'm a paranormal investigator, I will use it to my advantage. Okay. Like I have the 3-tone thing too. I have the high, medium, and low tone. So if I hear those tones, the high and the medium, I know it's a decent, okay spirit. If it's a low tone, I will keep people away from that. We'll go this way,
Awesome.
So it's helpful that way. But, I like my equipment. We have Vortex Ghost Gear. We make equipment for the paranormal. Mm-hmm. So, I like to use the stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I worked at my partner, and like even in this podcast, was a psychic. We used to work well together. We used to go on investigations together and everything.
Yes.
He channeled and stuff like that. Have you channeled, or have you gone on investigations with people like that?
I do channel. I don't think I've ever been on an investigation. It's really interesting. I love it, and have a lot of respect
for it. I just never kind of navigated into that
It's like me.
world. You
Right.
didn't either, Mama D?
No.
Oh,
No. And if she ever goes on one, she's got to come with me first.
absolutely. You have to.
I don't kind of sort of have no choice. Otherwise, she'll beat me silly.
Did you put the good evening? You too. Have a blessed evening.
I
There
didn't
you
do it. I'll chat out here having a blessing.
So, okay, now again, we were talking in the chat room before, and we were talking about our puppies, and you have 5 dogs.
What
Yes.
breeds?
Oh my goodness. We have a Chihuahua, and they're all rescue dogs. And then we have a Boston Terrier.
Terrier.
1 years old. And then we have a wolfhound mixed dog named Shanti. And then we have a blue tick hound dog who did not make it as a hunting dog, so he ended up with us.
There you go.
Yeah, we don't hunt, and so he's
Does he howl?
He does. Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, last night in the middle of the night, he had found a raccoon in our backyard that was kind of hanging on the back. We were on the water, and the raccoon was just hanging on for dear life, and the dog was, whatever that bellow net that they do.
Yes.
He was so proud of himself.
Of course.
His name's Bruno. And then we have Ella Grace, who is a Great Pyrenees. So 3 of our dogs are over 80 pounds, and then 2 little ones.
You got levels.
We got levels.
Yeah. If I ever did another dog, I can't do a big dog because I'm just too old and decrepit. I can't carry them if they get sick. The little ones I can carry, but then again, they get fat on me too. So
Well, I wonder why. This is the woman who had, those baby chairs that sort of hook onto the kitchen table. She had that for her dog. The dog would sit at the kitchen table and eat dinner with them.
I love
wonder
that.
why the puppies get chunky?
That's hilarious.
It's
I had a
chunky
cat
enough.
one time that his name was Teddy Bear, and he was a Siamese mix cat, and he would sit in my lap at the table like what you're talking about, and I would put his little bib on him, and he would not touch anything until I said it's time to eat. He was so good. Yeah.
Lacey
Oh
would
my
sit there
God.
too. Yeah, my Papillon. She would sit in that chair, and what I did is I put her food, so it was in a spoon rest that you have, for like the stove. So it was like a dish, and it was like a nice terracotta dish, and it had that dip in the front so that she wouldn't have to get messy and she wouldn't have to go over an edge, so she could put her face in there and eat her food, and then we would eat our food, but she would sit there nice as can be. Now Biscuit,
No, not so much.
not so much. He was a rescue. I after Lacey passed. So let me just quickly run down the Lacey story here, because I always had big black labs my whole life. Very, very smart, intelligent black labs, like outrageously smart. And the last one, Max, was absolutely the smartest dog I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I taught that dog everything. It was the biggest help to me. I better than my husband was. My husband passed away, but Max was had a tumor on the shoulder, and my daughter just gotten a long-haired Chihuahua. Max was going downhill. She would bring the long-haired Chihuahua over, and Max would liven up. And I said, I need to get a little dog for Max, right?
Yeah.
So I went looking actually for a long-haired Chihuahua. So where I went, they didn't have one. I said, well, what do you have for I said, well, what do you have for labs? They brought up a chocolate lab that came running up the stairs and ran right into the wall. And I said, no, no, can't deal with this one. No. So I'm like, that one's just a little too, brain dead for me. So take that one away. I said, what do you have for little dogs? And they brought out Lacey, little Papillon. I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but it was the cutest little ball of fur ever. That had like all this milk matted on the top of its head and everything. I'm like, oh, I love her. I want her, and she was really kind of too young, and we shouldn't have taken her yet. So I had to sign all these papers that I would do everything, nurse her, whatever, the bottles, everything. Let me take her. And I did all of that. So that's why, she was really literally my
Mom's
little
baby.
But then 2 weeks after that, I had to put Max down because Max got that bad. And then a year later, my husband passed away, and my kids are already gone. One's married, one's in the Air Force and the Army and stuff. They're out, they're gone. So it was just me and the dog. and
Yeah.
she was, I didn't know what to do with the little dog either. Cause I mean,
Yeah.
I had big dogs. I thought I was going to break her. So I babied her to death, and she loved dressing up and all that kind of stuff. And, so it was just me and Lacey for so long. But when she passed, it was like the last link to my late husband, you know,
Yeah.
and that was like heartbreaking. I said, no, I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
Biscuit came along. Now, Biscuit, okay, now you're in the fox den. Biscuit looked like a little fox,
Oh my
So
gosh.
I was like, and I'm gonna put that picture back up too, right? Of my bad losses, right? So that's Biscuit on the side
Mhm.
there. Little Lacey is, my Papillon, and unfortunately lost my mom and dad within the last year or two. So, but Biscuit, it was like I had him. We didn't know how old he was, as a rescue. He could have been anywhere from like 14 to 16 or so,
Yeah.
I didn't really know, but we had him for like what, 3 years, Mama? Something like that. 3 years, something like that. That little boy melted me. He just
Oh,
melted
Promise, baby.
so much.
I,
And
I feel him. I feel him, Gina. What he's so intelligent and so curious. Like he's showing me, like literally, he's showing me Sherlock Holmes. Like literally, he would like to figure things out. That like literally, and he loved it that you're a paranormal investigator too, because in his mind, and I have full body chills. He's a strong communicator. Yeah, do you have them?
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, and he was just so proud of himself because he felt like he's telling me, "Oh, I gave her a lot of the information all the time." He's like, he, he thought that he
I don't
was
doubt
real.
it. He was glued to me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. Yes.
At all times. I couldn't do anything without being in his eye shot, and
Oh,
it's so
what a
amazing.
sweetheart. But he's very complicated too, like complex. Like he has just these layers to
He
him
does.
too. Just so intelligent, but such a sweetheart too. But he just keeps showing me these layers of him, and he is coming back. He is definitely reincarnating, Gina. He's waiting
Oh,
until you're ready before he
oh,
comes back.
really?
Hello. I could have told you were going to eventually get another one, okay?
Oh
I
my God,
just
you have said that. Oh
he
my God.
he's saying he doesn't want to rush you, but because he knows that you'll be ready when you're ready. But it feels like about 4 to 6 months, Gina.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
that I believe.
thank you for that.
Yeah,
Wow. Didn't see that coming. but he was, I mean, he took over. He was King Biscuit,
yeah.
and I even named my car Biscotti.
Oh, I love it.
Because we were walking, I took my neighbor who I met being a babysitter for Biscuit, because I couldn't even leave Biscuit alone in the house. If I had to go somewhere, I had to have a babysitter, for him.
Yeah.
And so that's how I became really close friends with my neighbor. So I took her for a ride, my new car. And we were driving down the street, and I said, yeah, we were talking with my other friends, but we have to name the car, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what are we going to name the car? There is a man walking down the street with a dog that looked exactly like Biscuit, the funky, funny little walk that he
Yeah.
had, but he was pure white. And my car is white, right? And I'm going,
Wow.
oh, wow, maybe it should be something like Albie, like albino Biscuit, right? That's what I was saying. I said, oh, look, it's an albino Biscuit. I'm like, oh, maybe Albie. And my other friend goes, well, what about Biscotti? Because that's light colored, and I said,
Yeah.
that's it, and I'm
Love
Italian,
it.
you know. So,
Yeah. Love
that's
it.
my cars, a biscotti after biscuit, and and the white.
I love it. That's awesome.
Oh, but thank you so much for that. It really means a lot.
Yeah, and he's like before you were talking about how he walks, he was showing me the swagger too. Like he could be totally like a gay boy, like he just loves his mama.
The kisses, the kisses, the
Yep.
kisses, and yes, and he had this, he had this
Swagger.
and the one ear would flop down when he watched. Right? So one ear stayed up straight, and then one ear would flop, and he's walking in little floppy flops. He was so cute. Oh my god.
That's a swagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just God, little angel, just a little angel.
Absolutely.
My goodness. Wow. Okay, so getting off of
You almost had Gina crying in the first 20
Yes.
minutes. It was good.
I know. Oh my God.
Good tears, good tears.
Yeah. So now you are in Mississippi. So you are a real true Southern Belle. And you were a Southern Baptist. So
I was.
talk about that, because a lot of people don't understand what goes on as a Southern Baptist, no less.
Yeah, Mississippi has more churches per capita than any other state. And literally, if somebody moves to Mississippi, the very first question somebody asks is, "Where do you go to church?" And I was just raised in the church, but I started noticing a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of things that just did not make sense to me. And knowing that I could see the spirit world, and then you hear the preachers talking about, how evil it is and it's of the devil, and on and on and on. And so I finally left organized religion, probably in my early 20s.
Yep. Okay, so but you wait a minute. Weren't you did you do that kind of work at some point? Or you just left
You
the
mean
church?
when I was
Like, were you-
with the church?
Yeah, were you some kind of a leader in the church?
No, I was just attending the
Okay.
church.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why all of a sudden I thought that. I'm like, was she a leader? I'm like, I don't think I remember that. But you did have some rough times in your life. So when The Secret came out, what year did The Secret come out? I can't remember that now.
Gosh, I should know that, Gina.
It was a long time ago. But you wrote.
Oh, the original Secret. Yes. Okay. The
original
original Secret was 20 years ago, approximately.
So what fascinated you about that?
I loved the teachings of the law of attraction, and I've always been a master manifester. My friends just kind of shake their head, and they're always shocked and blown away at everything that I can manifest for myself. But it was when I was trying to have a baby, and I was following all the teachings from the law of attraction and the vision boards. And so 5 miscarriages later,
I'm so sorry you went through all that.
Thank you. It was a really rough road. And, after a period of grieving, I felt like I needed to go on a quest and find out why I was unable to manifest something that I had wanted more than anything before. And that's what led me to end up writing. First, I called it Secrets of the Secret. And then I just republished Manifesting Your Magic in the 5D, because I added more material talking about the quantum, and we'll get into that later.
Yep. So so that's what that's about. Her book there, The Secrets of the Secret. Right. So it's like about that. Because we all were like watching The Secret and trying to do all these things, but it was like they were missing the step of the doing.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
and it was like that. Just that one thing revolutionized everything else. Yeah.
Somebody
Thank you.
2000. Yeah, because the law of attraction is just one spiritual law, and like you said, there's so many other ones. So when I wrote my book, I brought 9 other spiritual laws in with the law of attraction, because why not utilize all the spiritual laws at our disposal? And like you mentioned, one of them is the spiritual law of action, which tells the universe that we're serious. And then in turn brings the spiritual law of vibration, which creates an energy which propels our wishes further in a quicker way, as long as it does tie in with our soul contracts.
Yeah, now that can, kind of confuse people about the differences between soul contracts and our soul family and, things like that. So we have our spirit guides, we have our soul family, and they're all different. They have different fascias and they have different jobs, but they're all here to help us.
Yeah, they're all here to
Right.
help, and we
It's all
have what's called a soul's blueprint. And it's if you think about it like an architect creates plans, a blueprint, we as humans, when we're going to incarnate, we get with our spirit guides and we come up with our plan, our soul's plan for that incarnation. And I've called it a blueprint, and but it can be altered and changed. But our spirit guides, they can look at our Akashic records, they can see what soul growth opportunities would be good for us, which people we want to bring in each lifetime. And so they help us devise the soul's blueprint. So if we're trying to manifest something that goes very much against what is in our soul's blueprint, that's where we hit these brick walls. I was able to determine I chose not to have children in this lifetime. My soul chose that, but I wasn't aware of that at the time.
I just got chills because you're meant to do so much more, and I
Well,
truly believe that. I mean, our paths are our paths for a reason, whether
yes,
we can fight them and something will constantly steer us back to the path we're supposed to be on,
absolutely. The country song, Unanswered Prayers,
Oh,
Mama D, you were talking about country music
love
earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's so profound because it's so true. We don't think about that at the time when we're going through the grief of not being able to manifest something. And in my book, I've coined it perceived manifestation failure, because a lot of times not only are we grieving what we have been unable to manifest, but then we feel bad about ourselves for not being able to accomplish.
I think I'm doing something wrong for not being able to.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're not, and
Yeah.
that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, because
Yes.
like I said, and people will sit and fight and fight and fight. It's like, no, I'm supposed to do this. I want to do this. I like this thing, And it's like, well, you know what? The universe is saying no, Yeah, Joan, she's never had kids or a husband, and so I choose that before I came here. She's asking.
More than likely, Joan, I'm just kind of tuning in right now, and I'm getting a yes. Your soul chose other growth opportunities, what I'm getting with you is you have reached people in many different ways, and they're showing me just arms out there touching different people and touching their lives. So yes.
She's a love. She really is. Yeah, she's a go-getter and a good business girl, and she's done. She's fearless.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, she's amazing.
I can feel that for sure.
Yeah, that is really cool. Thank you for doing that for her too. Because I think that people need this. They need this. So you to get a reading or to work with you. How does this happen? We go to your website and we get in touch with you? Like I have this is your website here, jilmjackson.com. What is on the site if they go there?
Yeah. So I think my readings are booking now into March of 2025. I think is when the first ones are. So yes, you can book a reading. I do trance channeling. I do psychic readings. I do mediumship readings, trance healing sessions. So all of it's on there. And then we also have a membership community called the High Vibe Tribe. And that is something I'm really, really proud of. It's a safe place for like-minded seekers to come together. We have forums. We go live 3 times a month. I'll channel live on there. And then my husband and I, he's also a psychic medium.
Oh,
And
wow.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to book him next.
Yes. The one before
Yes.
him at the beginning of the show. Wow, I didn't know.
Okay.
Well, how does all right? Finish saying what you were saying, and then I'm going to ask you.
And then we'd lead spiritual retreats. What else? Oh, and my online learning classes are on there as well. I have a school that teaches psychism and mediumship.
And you work with children too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. The book I'm writing.
Remind me to ask you about that. But right now, I
Okay.
want to know, okay, you and your
Yes.
husband, one, how did you meet? Two, do your spirit guides get along?
Oh, that's a funny one. This is hilarious. So he was born a medium as well. He was able to see the spirit world as a child. He would know there was a missing little girl when he was about 10, and he pointed and was able to show his grandfather where they would find her. So he was born with the gift. And then when we met 9 years ago, and one of my students that I was mentoring, who's now a professional psychic medium as well, Leanna, she predicted him and told me everything about him. And she told me his name would start with a D. She told me how tall he was, that he would have blue eyes, and that he had a ponytail, and that he was obsessed with shoes. And and that we would meet in like an upscale kind of bar. So we met in a wine bar, and he starts talking about his shoes right away. But the only thing, and I never told him all of this, and I called her and I said, "You were spot on with everything except the ponytail." And she said, "I'm telling you, I saw the ponytail." Well, literally 3 years later, after we were married, he says, "I'm going to grow out my hair. I've always wanted a ponytail." And he never knew.
There we go.
That,
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Again, I'm getting chills left and right in the show. I'm telling you. This one just got my whole
Why
side
do
of
you think
my
I had to put on a sweater?
wow. That is amazing. Okay, so the second part of the question, do the spirit guides get along?
Yes and no. It's we're going to be teaching. We're twin flames, and next year we're bringing a program to help people that are either searching for their twin flame, or they think they may be with their twin flame. Another colleague of mine made a prediction that a lot of twin flames are going to be coming together in 2025 and doing their sacred spiritual work together. So yes and no. I've been doing this work professionally longer than he has. So I've been doing the work about 20 years professionally. He's been doing the work about 7 years professionally. And my guides, and I told him when we met, my guides give me instruction, and I'm going to need you to be okay with these instructions. And a lot of men would not be okay,
Yeah, no.
because it just comes in, out of the blue, and it could be random things. And so there's been a couple of times, especially lately, that he's saying to me he wants his guides to let him know the same thing. So he's asking for his own signs, and they do. They'll bring them. Like, for instance, one of my guides had shown a flood where we're living. It hasn't happened yet, and about 2 months later, he was shown the same thing. And sometimes they will give us like metaphors or signs where it may not be an actual flood. I feel like this one is, though. So it's important for us to respect each other's spirit guides, because he has his own path as well.
Well, that's amazing. That's fascinating, because you don't usually hear that. No, you said, and I've I've done this show for years and years and years, and I've had people on, and twin flame experts and such. Every single one that's written a book on twin flames, they always say that twin flames are never together. Like, they just don't work together. You know what I mean?
They're clashing all the time.
Yeah. So if you are working and living and married to your twin flame and you predict this for 2025, do you think that this is part of like the veil thinning, the change, the switch that's happening in the world,
Yes.
as we know
And
the energy?
yes, absolutely. And it's true, the twin flame dynamic is not everybody thinks that's, rainbows and unicorns and puppies
Mm-mm.
all the time. And it's not. I mean, he and I, we have helped each other. We hold up mirrors for each other, but it's not the easiest dynamic. I mean, we love each other deeply and we work through everything, and that's what we want to help people with. But what our guides both have told us and taught us is that unless you are going to be doing spiritual work together, you do not incarnate in the same lifetime because the other one is on the other side
Right.
helping. Yes.
Right. So
Now
that's
that makes sense.
fascinating. The more I'm learning about you, the more very interesting you are. I think you need to write some more books. Now,
Look, I've
work,
already got to buy 3. Hello. Give me a break. I'm doing
work,
retail therapy,
working.
Shelby.
This is your next one is going to be about working with children.
Yes, it's called Children of the New Earth. And in 2014, I channeled a group of beings called the Emerald Group, and they told me that I would be writing a book and helping parents of gifted kids. And they told me about the children of the golden ray, that they were coming in on the 12th ray of consciousness. They've never incarnated here. And I kind of, I can be stubborn sometimes. And so I was arguing with them, asking why me. I wasn't able to have children. Why would I be the one to write a book about gifted children? And they said, because you were a gifted child and you are a channel, and this is going to be channeled information.
Because
So
now you're
they
going to have
started.
children. Do you realize that?
Yes.
That's
You don't
Yes.
have to give birth to have children. You have the children
Yeah.
come to you, are drawn to you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I've
Absolutely.
noticed that there's a lot of gifted children out there, and I always say, like I just had to do a house cleansing because a 10-year-old boy was getting attacked in his house. But
Mhm.
he's a budding psychic, and
Yes.
he's right on that verge, and he doesn't understand what he's seeing. He doesn't understand what's happening. Try to explain them like you're going to need, at some point, not now because he's just too young, but you're going
Yes.
to need some kind of psychic development or learn how to curb it, to shut that third eye down, all that kind of stuff, but after I cleansed the house, he said he went from the scary things to now he sees angels.
Oh, I love that, Gina.
So when you said that about those kids, the ones that have never incarnated here before, it's like my little spidey senses went off, like maybe he's one of these. So you gotta hurry up and write this book because I have to get it to him.
Okay, absolutely. Yes. And so the kids that came in before the golden rays are the diamond rays, and people have talked a little bit about the diamond rays, but they're very different than the golden rays. So yes, I'm excited about this book. And what I've done is interviewed parents of these gifted kids in every category, from the indigos, the crystal children, the rainbows, the diamonds, and the golden rays, and it's fascinating.
Yeah. The indigos kind of freak me out a little bit. I'm not going to say it. They don't.
I was an indigo.
Come on. No way.
An adult indigo. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of a warrior spirit.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because I think it's like too much power in one little being.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the indigos they were the first ones that, incarnated. And so they do kind of have that warrior kind of spirit, and then after the indigos, the crystals came in, which kind of just calmed everything down, the crystal children.
Yeah, because it was kind of a overwhelming, scary-ish type with the indigos, and everyone was like, ooh, and depending on who you read or who you talked to or who you interviewed about them, you've got a little different stories here and there. What was your story as an indigo?
just as an activist,
Okay.
I came here to be a voice for animals and children and women, and so I'm very outspoken, and I've had to just kind of tame that and balance it because you know my guides keep teaching me that balance is key. So for those of you out there who are the spiritual warriors, because we need all types, right? Everybody, we need the people that can sit in the lotus position and hum and hold space. We need those kinds of people, and then we need the activist as
Yep.
well. But it's just important to find that balance within.
You're amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Gina.
I'm
You're
learning.
amazing.
I'm learning more stuff. How do you? Okay. How? Because I'm not. I know of, but I don't understand how you figure out that you're an indigo child, a crystal child, and the like. How would you figure that out?
Yeah, part of it is what year you're born. There's like ranges, and it's kind of like anything else. There can be cusp there too, like in astrology, you can be on the cusp. So the um, the true indigos started incarnating in the 50s and 60s, and pretty much went through to about 80s or 90s, and then the crystal children started coming in. So more than likely, if you were born before the 80s and you have these gifts, which all of us here on the show do, that's an indigo. And again,
So
it's
we're all
kind of like
indigos.
we're all indigos, but it's
Different
you
degrees.
know different degrees. Thank you, Gina. That's exactly what I was trying to. Yeah, different degrees of it. And then
It makes sense
also,
because there's not just one level of everything. It's different levels of
no,
each thing.
yeah, because you have your life path number that plays
Mhm.
into it, and then you have your astrological sign that plays into it as well, and that's why every indigo is very, very different. Like my moon is in Aries, and so that's where this fiery, and then I'm a rising Leo, so I've got a lot of fire, but then 7 water signs in my chart. That's where all the psychic gifts come in.
I
Nice.
had
Yes.
my
It's pretty
charts done
fascinating.
once, and I couldn't understand. I enjoyed the idea of reading it all and learning it all, but it just didn't sort of sit into
Yeah.
my
The
brain.
indigo shows I had with Chris. So that was before you. But they're probably still archived on the Second Sight shows. We had one woman, oh my God, I cannot remember her name. But yeah, she kind of scared me a little bit.
Really? Was she aggressive?
She was a very intense. She was really, really intense, and
Yes.
and it was just kind of like, and that was the first go around with an indigo expert, you know,
Yeah.
and I was just like, you know, I don't know. Chris had fun with that one, let me tell you. But,
Oh, that I'm sure. That I'm sure.
yeah, after that, it was like, okay. After talking to a few other people, because it does spark your interest and you want to learn and you want to know. But I think that you growing up where you were too, being in Mississippi, and I think that helped you cultivate all this, that you're so ready to be doing this, and you're so ready to be working with these children, and you're so ready to throw all that knowledge out there, because it needs to be out there, because mama was confused, like a lot of people get confused about what it actually is, what is actually going on with our children, what is going on, when we were kids, what were we witnessing, because there's so many questions that are like not answered there.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. In the book, it's written in a way where it helps, everybody, guardians of children, aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents, and then we can see ourselves in that as well, and we can learn. I have a chapter talking about the different gifts and how to differentiate. So if your child is a medium or psychic and or a healer, and what to look for, and because
Right.
they're all very different. Psychism, mediumship, channeling are all coming in from different dimensions.
Yeah. And when we were
Yeah.
young, like we were showing these things, when I told my mom, about my grandfather, she didn't know what to do. And she was just like,
Yeah.
well, we're not going to talk about that. And that's how my mom dealt with everything. Well, anything she didn't like, we're not talking about that. Don't exist. You can't see me. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Don't
It's
see
like,
it, I don't know it.
yeah, nope. But now, thank God. And, it's like all this information being out there and everything that our kids can get help. And then we can have future giants in this field, and really master healers and, very gifted mediums and psychics and things that can help our nations, not
Yep.
just people, but, once the powers that be that put into place, if they would listen, to the
Yes.
warnings, heed the warnings, see the
That's a-
future, look at the path they're going down, look at what you're gonna burn up, you know what I'm going to here. Okay. It's like if they would just listen.
Yes.
things
I
would
mean,
be-
to me, more and more corporations are using psychics. A lot of them don't admit it, but they have psychics on staff, and even some of the entertainment industry. One of my colleagues was doing that. Was their consultant? Their
yeah.
psychic,
Yeah,
which is
many,
fascinating.
many do. A lot of actors and everything too. They're like, well, I'm not going to do anything without, having my charts read, consulting my psychic, or whatever. Whatever it is that they do, the crystals, all that kind of stuff. Now, I get a question: do you use crystals? Do you use cards at all? Like we do. We love our oracle cards. So we'll do
Yes.
oracle card reading shows and such. But I do like our crystals too.
Yes, I love crystals. I teach about crystals in my classes. Oh, is that selenite, Mama D?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Me
love my
too.
selenite. It's a must-have in my opinion for everybody. Love crystals, love labradorite, moldavite, quartz. And then yes, I am a tarot reader. For my psychic readings, I just go straight but then at the very end of the psychic readings, I may throw a few cards to get timing, and other people will come in that way. So yes, I love tarot, I love oracle, I love all of it.
You just said something that sort of turned on the light bulb for me. I find that most people who are tarot card readers or tarot, when they talk about drawing cards, they say throwing a card. But for me, as an oracle reader and many other oracle readers that I know, we say drawing a card. And I don't know if that makes a difference, but I've noticed that you're the first person that has said it on the show, so is able to talk about it. But
Yes.
do you think that there's a difference in the way we do things differently?
Yes, and oracle cards are more for life messages, and tarot, because I use both. And tarot, when I say throw it down, like I'll shuffle them and just throw a few cards
Yeah.
down. But when I'm doing the oracle, I do select a few.
Okay.
So it is very different. That's great
Yeah.
that you picked up on that, Mama D. But yeah, the tarot, I find it. I studied with a master tarot teacher for years when I was living in California, and it's so amazing. There's so much symbology there. My husband's also an amazing tarot reader, and even the Thoth or whatever tarot.
Yeah.
But I use it a lot, like I said, for timing, or sometimes it'll show people or
Like
signs.
a validation or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I learned on. I learned how to do, I say tarot. All right. So I learned on tarot, but I love oracle, so I don't really do tarot unless someone really wants it. Then I would do that. I would do the regular spread and stuff, like to me, it's just too organized. It's too this, it's too that, but that's how I do it. If I'm doing it, because it's like, this is how I learned it. This is how I'm going to do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there might be an extra couple cards at the end if something falls out, but it's the regular spread. But with oracle to me shows me a movie. And and it's like, we say we're going to pull one or maybe two cards, but I'm like, I'm pulling cards and I say, wait a minute, I'm still not getting it. And then I have multiple decks out, and then I'll do another one, do another one, do another one, and it's like, all right, there we go. Now that makes sense. So then the whole, 4, 5, 6 cards, whatever it is, comes together.
Yes. So you're using it to activate your clairvoyance because you're seeing kind of like the movie
Yeah.
playing out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I teach in my classes. The tools are great. Pendulum, scrying mirror, oracle tarot, all those are awesome. But I teach my students to go to the clairs first and then bring in the other to kind of strengthen that. And then when you bring in, like you said, the oracle cards, the clairvoyance just starts rolling.
Yeah. And then it's like boom, boom, boom. And what's always fascinating is we also have a girl, Mary Jane, that sometimes comes on with us. We had another girl that did our crystal of the week, Athena Barry. She used to come on and she had her oracle cards too. But all our cards, for the most part, I would say a good 90% of the time, were all, cohesive. They all saying the same thing. Every once in a while, a little different, like, okay, it's like, I'll have this card. Mom will have something like the devil on the shoulder, the devil's advocate or whatever. Like, like there might be a warning towards it. Like my thing's saying, go for it, go for it, go for it. And hers is like, well, wait a minute, So, so it's like, okay, then proceed with caution.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you still pulling
balance
together, but it's like, it's amazing. And all the time, it blows my mind every time.
That's awesome. That's what I say all the time. You just can't make this.
No, you can't.
I'll say stuff.
You can say shit. You can say shit.
Okay.
It's the one word that I'm allowed to say is a cuss word without having to pay the cuss jar.
Okay.
The swear jar. I'm good.
That is a
and
book.
we even have a deck called the Rebel deck. Now, if you've have you ever seen them before?
Oh my God.
I have a hard time because it has the F word in it quite a bit. And I don't normally swear. And so I got it when I read it, because it's written on the card. When I read it, it's like, oh, okay, here's another.
That's awesome.
And that's the only other time that I don't have to pay the swear jars when I'm reading the Oracle deck.
That's priceless. I love it.
I'm gonna put this up here too, because there's the clairs.
Those are the clairs, yeah.
So clairvoyance is seeing, clairaudience is hearing, clairsentience is sensing, clairgustance, taste. All right, clairalience or clarifaction is smelling. So when you have all these smells, like some people just smell things, and cognizance is knowing. Now, when you said you thought everybody saw spirits, okay, I have this clear cognizance that I know how to build things, make things. I look at a room, I can see it to its studs. I know exactly what I want to put in the room. I know, because that's what I did. I did interior decorating, design, building, tool belt diva. Was my work. But I thought everybody saw like that.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Definitely past life, Gina.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Monica says she senses them.
See, so everyone has their gifts, and that's all so much for a reason. We need all these people with all the different gifts, and what we need to do is pull them together.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I tell my students. I feel like every single person should learn psychic intuitive development. Now, does everybody need to learn mediumship? No, because mediumship is a calling, and but everybody can benefit from, I call it soul development, intuitive development, psychic development, because even like 80% of the students that come to my classes aren't wanting to do this work as a profession. They're just wanting to help them in their own personal lives. Because if we can learn to listen to our intuition and our knowing, our lives
without
change.
questioning too much.
Yes.
Because a lot of us will before we realize what we're getting, the knowledge that we're getting, we sit there and go, I'm getting something, but what the heck am I? It's like you question it as, is this me? Am I losing my marbles? And the thing is, what I think now is that people are more open to it, to everything spiritual. And it's not as like back in the day when I had, when we all had imaginary friends. It was imaginary friends. Now many people go, well, it's a spirit that you're having a conversation with, or, and it's like, I used to work in a convenience store, and I had a mom come in one time, and she had an autistic child who would talk, in general, but there would be times that they would have like full on conversations with their imaginary friend. And when the mom came to my cash, she was like, just it's his imaginary friend. I said, no, it's not. I said, they're
Good
having
for
a
you.
conversation with them. Just because you don't see them, you may not totally understand it. They're having a conversation with somebody. They're learning something from somebody. They're passing a message on from somebody. And she was like, you know what? No one's ever told me that. Never looked at it that way.
Oh, I'm
So
so
it's-
glad you did, Mama D. That's
It's
wonderful
just
advice.
I said, for me, it's for me, things sort of came to a head in 2012. When the world was supposed to come to an end.
Right.
And even before I knew of all my gifts and my spirituality, when this happened, I was like, the only part that's coming to an end is the world as the way we know it. It has
Right.
nothing to do with the world coming to an end, like it's gonna kaboom, gone. It's just the way things are. And that was the year that Mama D, came out of the closet, the broom closet. I wasn't as open with my family and my jobs until I was more comfortable with it, and that's why I just used my Mama D name instead of my real name, which is Darlene. And so that's why it's got over there, Mama D / Darlene. Because
Yeah.
after a while, I was like, I don't give a flying frog's patootie. Who knows? If you don't understand what I say, if you don't get what I say, you don't believe what I say, that's fine. It's your
Yeah.
choice. It's
Yes.
something I'm learning to trust myself with. So,
Beautiful.
but people are more, I think, since 2012 and COVID, I think people are more open to believing and trusting and understanding.
Yes, absolutely. And I've been shown that in 2025 it's another jump too, like you
Good,
said.
because I need to
Mama
jump.
D.
I'm at a block right now. For the past, we'll say 6 months, I sort of been stagnating, and I don't know why. So that's why I
Well-
was saying earlier I wanted to leave everything social media. I was like, I was ready to go, and then I knew. See, Gina's going, no, you're not. And I know I can't, not just for the people that I am in touch with, because I could still stay in touch with Facebook Messenger, but there are things that I do that I used to do that I don't do as much of now. So I'm like, okay, it's time for me to just sort of pull back. I need to pull back
Yeah.
and start to learn to refocus things. So things are going to come up, but
Well, and that's kind of the period that we're in now, Mama
Mhm.
D. It's that kind of retreat and go within phase to prepare, because 2025 is my guides have shown me it's going to be a roller coaster ride, and so
and I hate roller coasters, so
Oh.
just like come over there. Give me a Ferris wheel. Don't give me the roller coaster.
Well, JoJo is saying,
like
what
the
if
kind of thing,
schizophrenic people are really seeing some people, and we say, we just, call them all crazy. There's been movies about that, horror movies and
Yeah.
stuff. But
But how many people are in?
I've said that. Before.
How many people are in hospitals that there's that are being told, oh, it's you're losing your marbles, you're schizophrenic, you're this, that, or the other thing, but it's actually because they are hearing spirit, they are connecting to, and it's just that somebody's not believing them, or they're doubting themselves so much, and someone's like, you're hearing voices, you need to go into get a hugging jacket.
I would venture to say that it's a pretty large percentage of people that are just mediums, and they don't know what's going on.
Right.
They don't have
So
anybody
it could
to
be
help
a little.
them.
It could be a little of both. It could be a little bit of
That's
a,
true.
some kind of a mental handicap going on, but then that could be the access point, because like a lot of times, someone who's gifted, who's denying it, or too busy during the day and denying it and pushing it back at night, the spirits are going to come and yap at you, because you're going to listen to them then. But it could be something like that, that they can keep it at bay for so long, and then they're just going to get pummeled by it,
Yes,
and then the more
absolutely.
you medicate them, I don't think that's helping either, or if there's a mental, part that's like, puts your mind in that state, like that, you know, you're not all together there. You're kind of off in la la land, kind of almost like a dream state, again, where the spirits are going to come in and say, oh, hey, you know, here's someone that we can talk to. Here's someone that's slowed down enough that can listen to us, you know, and help
Yes.
them that way, you know. So I've said that before, Jojo. That was like you were reading my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a little gifted too, you know. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is all right, we're already an hour in.
Do you realize we're 9 o'clock already?
Oh my God.
It's
Um,
just-
It's like I don't want to let her go. All right, there was a question that I just read here. Where did it go? No, not that. Not that. Oh, okay. So you teach about the shadow and limiting beliefs, and can you help us understand what this means? Now, limiting beliefs. This definitely devastates a lot of people.
Yes. Yes. And it's what holds us back more than anything. And it's that false ego. You know, a lot of times we'll start working on our spiritual development and start really learning different tools and Oracle Tarot and everything like that. But we forget to do our own soul development. And really, I call it peeling those onion layers back to find out what our own traumas are, because our traumas, and they can come from past lives as well. Our traumas are stored in the subconscious mind. And when we do not do our shadow work, what happens is we're triggered and we don't know why we're triggered. And then we end up lashing out at someone else. And so that's why it's so important to do the shadow work. But as far as our spiritual work, a lot of times people, oh, look at that puppy. Hi, baby. A lot of times the ego will come in, and it's the fear-based ego, which is a paradox that keeps us from moving forward on our spiritual journey. You know, and that ego, the false ego, will say, who do you think you are? You're making this up. You're not gifted, you know. And so I help a lot of my students, and I mentor people to help them work through those fears and then move through them. And part of working with the shadow is uncovering the traumas that are stuck in the subconscious mind. So, and I teach about this as well. So if you think about the conscious mind and the superconscious mind, so we're wanting to access the superconscious. Well, we have to go through the subconscious mind to get to the superconscious. And if your subconscious mind is filled with so much trauma and negativity and things that we haven't dealt with and worked through, it's going to be more difficult to access the superconscious. Yes.
Yeah. Huh. That's funny. That's another show that we have. The guy wrote a whole book about that, about to your superconscious mind.
Okay.
And
awesome.
Where it is in the brain and all that kind of stuff. That was fascinating, you know. So you're bringing everything, like so many shows all together. You're putting them all in the one little cup, you know, making sense of everything. Like the cards, when I put that spread out there and I have that final card, you know, that's like, you're that card. You know what I mean? You're that final card. So you're doing it. But you do explain a lot of stuff like this in this book. You really do.
Yes.
It's not that big of a book, but it's packed, you know, with a lot of things. So I did not read the one, The Secrets of the Secret, but if this one is added, you know, to that, you know.
Yes.
So I can imagine that one was just as great. But you had some aha moments that, you know, made you put this one together. Now, do you say this is a you writing this book, or is this a you being channeled writing these books?
Both. I in fact, people that read the Mississippi Medium book had asked me if I had a ghostwriter for the, you know, Manifesting Your Magic book, because the voice is so different. But no, I wrote both of them. But the Mississippi Medium book is more about my journey and different experiences that I've had as a medium. And then I did do light channeling with the Manifesting Your Magic book. Yes.
Yeah. So these are her books right here Okay. And she did get Psychic of the Year in 2015, 2016. And she did get the, I don't have the picture up here, but the award for working with animals as well in 2014. So what was it that you were doing with the animals that you actually got that award?
I just do a lot of volunteer works with animals. I help a lot of animal causes. And when I lived in North Carolina, I was part of a group called Asheville Voice for Animals. And again, we were activists we had to unchain dogs to make it illegal to chain your dogs. We finally got that passed. We worked with, we got the circus band in Asheville, North Carolina. That took about 3 years, because we were able to educate what the poor animals go through to be able to get to that point. So that's mainly, and I volunteered at a wolf dog rescue, a lot of actual
Wow.
wolves, and so yeah, I love animals.
Wow. Yeah. So my guide is obviously the fox. He's one of my spirit guides, and the butterfly is Mama D's. But my daughter was always, and she's like, I don't believe in any of that stuff, but she was always wolf, 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 wolf.
Yes.
And I'm like, you
That's
may not
awesome.
believe in it, but the wolf believes in you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of my guides is the wolf. Yes.
Yeah, really powerful.
Yes.
A lot of good things. So yeah. So now manifesting. Well, you say it's going beyond the laws of attraction.
Yeah.
The laws of attraction in the secret, like we said, we were missing some steps. Now you have the 9 steps that you put in here that are really kind of, when you're reading them, like, well, yeah, well, yeah, well, yeah. Again, it's like common sense, common sense, common sense, common sense. When were these like these coming through to you? Like, when was your aha moments on those?
Just mainly, like I said, I went on a 3-year journey to try to find out why I was unable to manifest for myself. And, I started asking my spirit guides. I started going to other psychics, other mediums, and then I became a past life regressionist and found it even more. So I just started, I felt like it would help a lot of people. So I just started writing down everything I had learned, all the pieces of the puzzle to help me understand why I was not able to manifest. And a lot of clients that were coming to me for psychic readings were asking the same kinds of questions. Why have I not met my soulmate? Why have I not been successful in this career? And so I thought, let me just write the book. And I like to teach in foundations and bringing things together. And so there's so many other spiritual laws, and then the blueprint and then the past lives play into all of this as well. So people that have read the book, and by the way, the workbook comes out, I believe, Monday on
Awesome.
Amazon. So if anybody wants the companion
Awesome.
workbook to it, and you'll be able to write down.
You do, yeah, and you do have, like, at the end of every chapter, okay, here's your doing part,
Yes.
So it's like you read the chapter, and then it's like, and now it's your time. What did you think of this? And what, write this down, do this, do that, So it is an interactive book. So yeah, instead of just writing on a piece of paper, you'll have an actual workbook to write in. That's pretty great.
Yes.
Well,
and it's really
I put the
easy
links to the Amazon. Sorry, I put the links to the Amazon.com in the chat room. So if anybody wants to go see her books, please do so. And you can also, on her website, which I've been putting in multiple times during the show, her website, you can also purchase her books through there, book a reading there. Just keep in mind that you have to wait till March.
or more, because she's gonna get booked out. There's no doubt about it.
Unless you have connections in high places, you're going to be waiting.
Now, the mentoring and things like that, is this programs, classes? How does it work?
Yeah, I do one-on-one mentoring, and then have like a 6-pack, or a lot of people will do once a month mentoring. with me, people that have gone through classes, they've gone through my classes, and then maybe they have more questions, or they've read some of the books and they have questions. So that's not so much a psychic reading, even though I'm always,
Yeah.
channeling, but
It's always there.
it's always there. But it's more of a one-on-one. Like I worked with a woman the other day she has these gifts and she was wanting to know if it was her life purpose. And there were just some fears there that I helped her work through and to see this is 100% your life purpose. And so she felt like she had the courage to just, like you said, step out of the psychic closet. You call it the broom closet, Mama D. I like that too.
Yeah.
And so I love, and then I'm teaching at Lilydale, New York, next July. It's on my website under events. I'm teaching 3 classes there next July as well.
And you won't be too far from me.
Oh,
Is
is
it-
that pretty close? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is close.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when you do that, when is it?
July. I think it's July 5th, 6th, and 7th or something.
Okay,
like
the beginning. I was going to say because the end, my friend that runs the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, which is usually later in the month, but she goes up and goes to Lilydale a lot. I think she's taught up there as well. It's like I wonder if I could grab her, go up there when you're there, and come up and meet in person. I would love that.
Oh, I would love that too,
your
Gina.
energy. I would love that.
Oh, I would love that. We'll stay in touch and see if the dates work out.
Absolutely. I know she gets very busy because it's before her event and all, but
Yeah. And then I'm doing the Conscious Life Expo in February in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Well, Athena might be there. Athena Marie. She was on our show for a while here. She was doing the crystal of the week every week and everything, but she's a busy mom. But she's always gone to the Conscious Life, and so maybe you can meet her there. She's really
Ever
special.
see Athena Marie at any of your events? Go up and say, Mama D and Gina told me to come say hi.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing? Lisa sends me cool stuff on Messenger like daily. Really cool things to do and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so I want to bring up now quantum. So you brought up quantum in here.
Yes.
What's going on with quantum?
All right. So think about if we are wanting to manifest something and we have our consciousness vibrating in the 3D, which is just our waking state, right?
Right.
We are not going to be successful at manifesting that because in the 3D, that's where the fear comes in. That's where the limiting beliefs come in. So that's why I teach in my book how to get to the quantum, the 5th dimension. Everything's created in the 6th dimension. So you at least want to be in the 5th dimension consciousness to be able to co-create and to manifest. So I teach about that in the book as well and give some tips and tools on how to get our consciousness vibrating there. And then when you're there, those limiting beliefs are not there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very fascinating stuff. Again, like you would think that this would be hundreds and hundreds of pages, and yet it's not. So it's like and it is. It's easy to digest how you worded everything. Every human being can understand it. Sometimes we get these books, and it's like, I swear to God, they pull out a dictionary. Drive me crazy that I have to pull out a dictionary. Like, what are you saying? I don't like that. I would like to be able to read a book, understand a book, work with the book, because how do we learn? By doing.
Yes.
People can tell you things all day long, but are you going to learn it by someone telling you it? No, you got to do it. You got to walk the walk. And that's what was missing in The Secret. You got to walk that walk,
Exactly. That reminds me, some clients that will come to our reading and I'll predict certain things and then I give them the action steps. If you're wanting to manifest this soulmate and I see that they're going to meet them at an outdoor event and then they'll come back 3 months later. Oh, I didn't meet that person. And I said, well, how many outdoor events did you go to? Well, none. I stayed in my house the whole time.
Yeah, I love that. I love when people do that. When am I going to meet so and so? How am I going to meet? I was like, do you do the work? You're told you're going to get something or meet someone, but you have to work for it. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. It's not going to come knocking on your door. And now it's me, and that would be me and Gina, but that's about it.
Jojo's asking, is it available in audiobook?
Yes,
Not yet, but that's coming up.
Oh, not
Yes,
audio.
I'm working on that next. Quite a few people have asked about that. It's on Kindle and paperback, but audio is coming next.
Awesome.
Well, Kindle. I do Kindle. Like when for the show, a lot of people will send Gina the PDF because sending up here to Canada is like you're asking to give up a child or at least your left leg.
Wow.
So, well, from the States, oh gosh, yes. Sometimes we've had guests who will send me something, and it costs more to send it to me than it is to actually buy the book. I'm like,
Wow.
okay. So they'll send a PDF, and the PDF I can put on the Kindle, so it goes the way I like it. I get to read the words. Not with the books, but at least I get to read the words, but I also get to hear it because Kindle, you can do it so it does voice activation.
Oh, nice. I wasn't aware of that. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's not like the voice that you can pick for an audio book.
Yeah, no.
Right.
It's whatever voice they give you, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, but see, I like to have book in hand. I like to read. You know, I mean, it's my show, so you know, I read a book a week, you know, at least. So, the books I want to read, and then the books that I read for the show. And when I like them, I dog ear them to death. I hold them up quite a bit.
Wow.
Okay. I like it. You know, I like you. I like it. I like your message. I like how you work. Now you bring people to spiritual retreats, and it says here that it's a vortex power spots around the world. And what encouraged you to offer sacred travel to other light workers? So this is, you're doing this with your students?
Well, my husband, Mystic D. Francis, and I lead them together around the world. He's a healer and a sound healer as well. And yeah, when you go to these power spots, like we just went to Stonehenge for the summer solstice.
Nice.
That was incredible. And so our whole group got to be in the inside of the stone circles for the solstice. We watched the sun set.
Wow.
You know, and it's
incredible.
Oh yeah, there were probably about 5,000 people there, but the energy was off the charts. I mean, I was just shedding tears because, you know, you had the druids and you had people from all over the world and chanting and singing. It was just very powerful. And then we took them to different stone circles, like Avebury, the Merry Maidens, different ones around the UK. And I would channel for the group. So we would go to the stones and sit and do sacred ceremony. And then we went to the tour in Glastonbury and took the trek to the top of the tour. And that was incredible as well. So yeah, we then we go to Sedona. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I do believe that there are very powerful spots on the planet. And I think where ley lines intersect quite a bit, you know, because there's some spots that they're intersecting from many locations. And I just think that that's such an exaggerated amount of power. But I also think that the pyramids bring a lot of power, and they connect a lot of the power and the energy in the world too, because they admit there was a survey done or thing testing, whatever they want to call it. The top of the pyramids, like they all emit like this energy from the top of the pyramids, and all the pyramids around the world, it's like the same height that this energy comes up. You know, it's measurable. So, you know, it's science. It's not, you know, just something out of their head. All right. It's science. So it's proven. And they went around to all the pyramids, and you could measure that this energy was coming out, you know, and there are different locations around the world. However, you know, if you look at the ley line charts and things, you know, things get connected, and things have, you know, like it seems like the ones that have the same amount of crosses and things are very powerful places to be.
Yes, absolutely. And there's chakra points as well. Like, so Sedona is the root chakra of Mother Earth. So if you go there, it's a very grounding energy, right? But Glastonbury is the heart chakra. And people that have attended both retreats with us, the difference between the two chakras is so palpable. It's amazing to feel the different energy. So we work on different things depending on which chakras we're going to as well.
That's pretty fascinating. It really is. Oh my gosh. All right, I keep on looking at the clock because it's like I just don't want this to.
It's okay. You have time.
Yeah, it is.
I'll start making faces.
I'm really happy. So okay, so as far as like events, so you said you're gonna be teaching at Lilydale, okay, and these other retreats. You talk about the ones that you've had before. Do you have ones that are coming up in the present that people can actually attend, like that you can sign up and go to?
Yeah, in 2025, we're going to be going to Machu Picchu, which Lake Titicaca is the sacral chakra of Mother Earth. So it's all about creativity. And then we're going to the other stone circles in Scotland. So if they go to my website and there's a free newsletter, we're going to be announcing those dates very soon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jojo says she's jealous.
Oh.
Well,
you'll have to come go with us on one of them, Jojo.
Oh man, if I hit the lottery, I'll send you, Jojo. I would do that for her in a heartbeat. This girl just deserves so much good things in life, you know.
Yep.
She's got a heart like this big in this tiny little body.
Oh.
Yeah,
I can feel her energy.
Yeah, she's something. She's definitely something. She's a very special person. You know, she's had a rough go in her life. You know, but she's doing really well. Can I ask you a medium question?
Sure.
Because I showed you before. Let me get this back up here. All right. So my puppy. Now you already channeled my baby Biscuit here. Lucy used to leave me trinkets all the time. She left all kinds of stuff when she passed. She was amazing. But my mom and dad. Now I lost my dad last year. I lost my mom this year.
Yes.
We just sold their house not too long ago.
Okay.
So I'm like, are you able to see or hear what they might have to say about the sale of the house?
They both kind of have different thoughts on it, Gina. So let me connect first with your dad. And do you know anybody in spirit with a C name or?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. And who is that? Who is the
Kathy.
C name?
Kathy is a neighbor of
that. All right. So I'm just going to ask her to step over to the side because they're acknowledging and validating her, but this is close to the house.
Yep.
Their house, correct? Yes. Your dad is awesome. You know what he's saying, Gina? He's saying live life like he doesn't want anybody to feel like tied down or anything. Like I feel like he's trying to show me move, even though it feels like there's people in the family that felt like it needed to stay in the family. Would you understand that? Mm-hmm. Was there somebody that felt like it needed to stay? But he's saying, and I have full body chills. He's saying he's happy with moving because your dad, he was sensitive as well, Gina. He may not have talked about it, but he's very sensitive.
He was so smart, like I swear I got a lot of my things from my dad. My dad didn't talk much, but I learned everything from him, whether it was.
I feel him and he's just smiling right now. And he's just, he says it was time to move forward and to move and to close that chapter because he's saying that it was time for for the next chapter. And there was something energetically about not closing that chapter that would have prevented things from moving forward. You I feel like that your mom was usually the more outspoken one. What was she? Because she's being quieter right now.
Yeah,
Because she's
she always was, you know. He didn't talk too much. When he did, it was something specific
yes,
to say.
yes, but
And then if
they're
you don't,
opposite now because they're kind of they're kind of joking with
yeah, she
me.
wouldn't give him the opportunity to speak. You can,
I know, and she's laughing right now because she told me, she's like, I'm usually the one that's like doing this, but she said she just stepped right back because he wanted to come forward first, and they they both love you. They're together in the other world as well, Gina, and they said it's just a perpetual vacation that they're
awesome.
on.
Ah,
Yeah,
perfect
Nice.
word. Perfect word. That is,
yeah,
thank you. And to my mom, just tell her that, the house did go to family. So, I mean, it was one of my cousin's sons that bought it. So that she always wanted the house to stay in family, so.
yeah. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm watching her now, and she's smiling and she's happy. They're both very happy with that decision.
Well,
Yes.
that is like, oh, thank you. I've been wondering that, I kind of felt that, but to hear that is something different. You know what I mean? Again, we doubt ourselves.
Of course. Yes.
Mhm.
And even as psychics and mediums, when a colleague will tell us something, it helps to get that validation. That's what I tell my students. The best readings are what you already knew, and then you just get the validation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people don't believe in psychics, and I hate that. Because there are, and I mean, I have to say it, there are fake psychics out there. I know quite a few of them, and they just put the fire out of the real deal, because
you.
they just to make a name or a dollar or a whatever, and then there are the people that will blow your mind about information.
Yeah.
like this one psychic that when my husband died, he was so powerful. Oh my good God. But I did over this house, right? And I faux painted everywhere. I did all kinds of things, murals and stuff. We built a big addition onto the house. And he said, just leave this room plain, right? Oh, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. He goes, just leave this room plain. So when he passed away, first thing I did was that room, right? I faux painted it, floor to ceiling, the whole ceiling, everything. I Tuscanized the entire room. I took his deer head out of there and I put Tuscan pictures up there and everything. I go into the psychic and when he died, it was sudden. So I had to work. I really had to work hard. I had to work to close businesses. We had businesses together. So it's like I designed, he built, I finished, I painted, I cleaned up, he took all the trash away. You know what I mean? It was like, it was all totally connected.
Perfect team.
And so it was like, so not only losing my husband, but my partner in business and everything. And then, we had a big mortgage, we had the big house, all that kind of stuff, and all the fleet of vehicles. I had to work my butt off, and it destroyed me. It destroyed my body mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it, spiritually. Okay.
Yeah.
But when I went to this psychic and I'm doing all this work and I had to do a funeral, you know what I mean? We weren't ready for that. He was only 50. We weren't ready. But the psychic says he's sitting behind me and he's spreading his legs and he's spreading his toes apart. He says he's got bare feet, spreading his toes apart. And he used to do that when we used to go to fishing. He hated sand between his toes. So he always spread his toes apart, put this powder, and I'm laughing, right? He goes, well, he says he's got a bone to pick with you. And I said, how could he have a bone to pick with me? I have been working my butt off nonstop. I gave him the best funeral anyone could possibly imagine. He's got his deer, his fish, and everything in the coffin, on the grave, so all this stuff. How could he have a bone to pick me? And the psychic looks at me and goes, he said you girlied up his living room. And I almost
awesome.
died. I was just like, wow. Like there'd be no way ever
That's
would
awesome.
know how to do that.
Yes.
I have another question because he also brought up Kathy, the girl that you said, okay.
Yeah.
because when he brought her up, I was just really overwhelmed about all this Mark stuff. I didn't realize it was Kathy, and I've always wanted to apologize, to her directly, because he was saying, well, there's someone here. She was passing. She said you look like an angel. And I wasn't. And I'm going, well, maybe it was one of my clients, because it was an older woman. We called her Candy Lady. And she passed, and she always used to call us our angels, And but it was Kathy, because she had so many different kinds of cancers, and she was in hospice. And I was sitting on her bedside, and she was sleeping. And when she woke up and she looked up, I had really bleached blonde hair then, and the sun was coming behind me, so it just kind of like filtered through my hair or whatever, And she goes, "Oh, you look like an angel. Oh my God, I thought you were an angel," And she kind of came to, but that's who was coming through, and I was like, I don't know who C would be. I am like, So, and then after I left, I was like, obviously, I'm like, oh my God, Kathy. And her gravestone is actually not too far from my dad's and my mom's. And my husband's, actually. They're all in the same cemetery. So
earlier when we first started the show, your husband was hanging out behind you, Gina. He's like popping in and out. He enjoys watching you do your work.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. Yeah, because I told him, I was like, because he was really prevalent. He was always around, and I can show you a quick picture of him. I think I got a picture of him on here. Yeah, this was him.
Oh, yep.
Oh, Gina had long hair. It was before the scissors.
Yeah, long hair. Yeah. I did.
Handsome. Yeah, I remember one reading that sticks out, and it's one of those that and I teach my students, say what you get, even if it's the craziest thing you've ever heard, because it might make sense to the client. Well, I had this woman, I was talking to her husband, and he kept saying, talk to her about the monkeys, and I'm arguing with him in my head, saying, I'm not going to talk about the monkeys. And finally, at the end, he's screaming at me at this point. He said, do not let her off this phone call, until you talk about the monkeys. And finally I said, okay, this is probably going to be so far out there, but what's up with the monkeys? And she starts bursting out crying. He collected monkeys, and she buried him with his monkey statues. And it's like, you can't make that up. Yeah. So thank goodness I said it, and I use that to teach my students, because imagine if because you think it's crazy.
World, God, I'm like freezing here right now. It's like,
you're feeling spirit for sure.
But that's exactly it. The thing is, we'll get things when we're doing readings that it doesn't make sense to us, and but the thing is, to them, and I think we all learn from doing that. It may not make sense to the reader, but the readee, they were like, oh my God, pink elephants. That's what monkeys for you was monkeys, and it's like, oh my God, that's what they were buried with. Yeah, that would never make sense to anybody else other than that person. So never be afraid when you're doing a reading. Everybody out there who's ever listening, never be afraid to just sort of, just say, hey, I got something, doesn't make sense to me, but, and then let it go, and the person will either take it in at that moment, or they'll take it for later, and then you might get a message on Facebook going, excuse me, now I know what it means.
Yep, I know. Yes. And again, it's like, Kathy, I'm so sorry. I just can't say that enough, because she was our best friend growing up, because we were 2 houses away from each other. All us kids we all hang out, and she was like my best friend.
Yes,
and I'm like,
they understand. We have psychic amnesia sometimes, and especially when you went to that first reading, you were still deeply grieving, Gina. And so
Mark was the one on your brain.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So now, do you ask your husband for things for yourself?
As far as reading for?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, we do. If we're trying to make a decision, he'll do a reading on it. I'll do a reading on it, and then we compare it and, make sure we're getting the same thing.
That is fascinating. If you guys came into the show late, you have to actually go back to the
Go back
beginning.
and listen to the whole thing from the beginning.
Right? Because this woman is amazing. All right, so Joan said she's never had a medium be able to connect with her mom.
It's
Why?
yeah. So Joan, I honestly feel like that her mom has reincarnated. And I don't know if Joan can validate, but it feels like that her mom has been in spirit for over 10 years. Can she? I don't know if she can validate that.
Monica says you're amazing. So Joan, how when did your mom pass?
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for that, that's a really good thing. So if you reincarnate, so then the presence, like, so maybe you've been say someone has been getting like messages and messages and messages and messages. Like I was getting messages and messages and messages from Lacey, and then it stopped.
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago.
No, then that.
So is it someone else that you're?
Yeah. There's a taller, thinner woman that's around her, but I was feeling like that was a grandmother, though, with Joan. But I've had that happen where they have reincarnated, and it's mainly with children. It's not common that parents will reincarnate that quickly, but I have had it happen. But I've had someone that came to see me and wanted to connect with her son, and I brought every other family member through and could not connect. And finally, I just asked the grandmother, where is the son? And she said, he's already come back, and he's her daughter that she had already had. And she started crying with that. She said, I knew it. I always felt that he had reincarnated as my daughter. So that was amazing as well with that.
Yeah. So I wonder if something like that, Joan, was she like a real spiritual type woman? I mean, maybe, or do you feel like maybe she was like an old soul where maybe she was just at that?
Yeah, I don't feel that she's reincarnated. I don't feel she would have that quickly. Sometimes
I believe too that, like I really think that this is my last life because I think I've had many, know, and I really have that feeling and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I really am. I'm fine. And so
she wasn't spiritual.
I wonder.
Yeah, probably hanging out with my mom then.
Well,
yeah, I mean, around Joan, I am seeing a taller, thinner lady with darker hair. I can see that Joan is a blonde-haired woman. So I don't know who this is, but she's taller and thinner with darker hair, and she steps forward. It feels more like a grandmother with her. Yeah, I'm not feeling her mother. A lot of times too, like my own mother stayed in the healing chamber for about 6 months. Even other mediums could not connect with my mom for a very, very long time.
Yeah, 'cause you do go through phases. You know what I mean, like plateaus even, you go to this, to this, to this. And then, maybe they're just unreachable right now, Jojo says, my son and I say butterfly is my mom who died. Well, that's been, I mean, a lot. Mark, my late husband would always say he would be thinking about his dad when we were fishing and stuff. And you don't really see a lot of, butterflies on a beach in the ocean. You would on the lake or on a creek, which we would have the butterflies come. And I'm like, it could be. But when they get them out in the ocean, like, so
that's a definite sign for sure. Oh, look
at that onyx.
Baby.
Onyx used to be black.
That's funny.
You turn white.
Yeah. When he was born, when I first got him, he was black and reddish brown. And then I shaved him the very first time, and he's a whitey.
Oh my gosh!
There's only 2 things black on him, and both ends of his body. One is his nose, and the other one is the best part.
For nether regions.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I wonder if Joan can. This woman now is hanging out here. That's what happens when I open up the channel. She's very kind of proper lady, and it may be for somebody else on the call as well. But she's taller and thinner. I would say she's about 5'7", 5'8".
Jones tall. Jones tall.
Okay. And this woman's on the thinner side. And then, like I said, very proper as well. And she's telling me that she passed from an illness. And I'm feeling sick to my stomach. So there's medication with her.
She says, I'm not sure.
Aunt Lily. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She feels like a family member, Joan. If she fits that, that's who this is. Yeah, I wonder. Let me just ask Lily if your mom has This is fascinating because your aunt is saying that your mom has reincarnated already, Joan. That is very unusual.
Chills again.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked her and she said, yeah, she's not here. She's already come back.
Wow.
That is not normal.
Maybe to be able to do that. I mean,
Pardon?
Yeah, usually it takes a long time, right? So is that like a strong will that would be able to do that?
Yes. Yeah. If she felt like that she had a lot of unfinished soul opportunities or growth, she would have reincarnated that quickly. Yes.
Well, see, another person who can't connect with your mom only because your mom's not ready to get connected to.
Yeah.
Because she's back here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because she's not in that plane at all. That's pretty fascinating too. That just opened this whole thing for me too, because like, again, like you communicate with somebody, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And it's like, well, where'd they go? Did they go explain? But it never even dawned on me that they could be gone because now they're back here again.
Yeah, because it's just not the norm. Like it's usually they will take, a while, which Pat's reincarnated pretty quickly. But people usually choose to stay on the other side longer before they reincarnate.
Yeah. Like I said, Lacey, I mean, I clean my house like a fiend, all right, because I obsess, and I vacuum. And so there was no food, there was no fur, there was no nothing, and I like I did the same thing when my husband died. I went on this big mission to gather all this stuff. Like I don't know what it is, but it's something that I have to do because otherwise I'll fall apart, So I did the same thing with Lacey. I cleaned and I gathered all the stuff and I put it all away. And I would wake up in the morning and I would just cry. And I would be like, oh, just give me a sign that you're around, And I would wake up and I would put my foot down and I'm stepping on food, little bits. Like she would give me little bits of food. And the food that I gave her had her square regular food and had these little round BB like things, life bits, and she hated them. And I would try to pick them out because they would, they crunch really hard and they hurt her teeth or whatever. She don't like those. But it's like she kept leaving me, and I have them in a tin. And I kept them, So little pieces of little bone treats, little pieces of food, and then the ungodly life bits, but only left right where I'm going to step on them. Nowhere else in the house. And I'm like, where are you finding these things, Lacey?
Wow.
I mean, I vacuumed all the time. But
that's awesome.
It was so wild.
Yeah, Joan.
What did you come back as? A human?
Actually, yes, a human. And I'm actually getting a name. And I don't feel like you're going to know this until later, but I'm getting the name Ralph or Ralphie. She came back as a male this time. So that might take a while to validate that one, but I'm glad you asked that, Joan. And I only know of one other thing I can think of one of my clients off the top of my head. Her husband had passed away, and then he reincarnated that quickly as her grandson, and she knew it so strong. I mean, she just knew it, and then I was able to validate it as a medium, and so that's not the norm. It's just not that common, but I have had it
Now,
before.
Joan is living in Florida now, right? You're still in Florida, Joan? I think, or you were moved. I know you were planning on moving, or if you have moved. Would this Ralph or Ralphie be somewhere close to her?
I'm actually feeling like in California. Joan, do you have any relatives?
Oh, she's
Or
in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's right. That's
in
right.
North
North
Carolina?
Carolina. Because I thought
Okay.
she said Washington before. That's funny because I was like, you live in Washington, but yeah. So she's
Yeah, I'm
North Carolina.
feeling this is California.
Close.
So some of it, write it down, Joan, because some of this may take a while to make sense. It's really interesting.
Well, we'll send Athena on a mission. Find Ralphie.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's up way. She doesn't
I
know
don't
anybody.
know
Yeah.
anyone in California.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we know a few people out there. We get some
Yeah.
people on mission, see if they know any Ralphs. Now, how old would this person be? Like, born, like just born?
Yeah, I feel 6 months old, 3 months. I mean, I'm seeing a small, and Joan, she's saying that she chose a male this time. She feels like men have an easier time, so she chose to be a male this time around. Email me one day if all this makes sense. I know this is so far out there. I normally don't like to do stuff without validation, but it's just coming in really, really strong. It's really bizarre.
Joan, I'll get the email for you and I'll message it to you. Wow, this is fascinating stuff. It really
Yeah.
is. I hope this connection can come through and I mean, it's got to be like, I mean, how many babies can be born, but how many babies can be born with the name Ralph?
Mhm.
It's not like a common name anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm right with the R name. It may be a little bit different than Ralph. Sometimes I'll hear the name close to that name.
Could have been Raphael.
Oh, I love
Raphael?
that.
Mm.
Oh, I love that. It's definitely an R name and definitely
I'm
male.
sorry, but wait a minute. What did you just say the name, Gina?
Raphael.
My niece just had a son, and his name is Raphael. And
Wow.
I'm telling you, if I get any more chills in this show, I'm
I
going
know.
to get out a jacket.
he's in the hospital right now because he's not doing so good. But and for me, Raphael is one of my archangels that I work with. So it's like, yep, I love that name. So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay. And we call him Raph for short.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, so that's Canada,
so
not
maybe.
California. So maybe
Right.
it-
Oh, this
There you
is
so
I'm
maybe
sorry,
that-
Joan. I'm not sending him down to you. He's way too cute to munch on.
And how old is he
Chubby cheeks.
now, Mama D?
So 3 months, I think. He's a little peanut.
This is wild.
There's no coincidences.
No.
I know.
I mean,
So what
And
you got to do is you got to get a picture of this Raphael,
Mhm.
and we got to send it to Joan and see if she connects.
If there's any similarities.
Send it to Jill.
yeah.
And see if
And Mama D, you said that y'all call him Ralph sometimes.
I call him Raph.
Ralph.
Short for
yeah.
Raphael. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So it still works.
And then Gina, you heard Raphael. That's just
Yeah. Is that weird? That's weird.
it's beyond weird.
I
And
am
even if it, I mean, I've got full body chills all
Yes,
over.
I'm freezing. I swear to God,
I know. But Joan, even if this isn't that connection, just know that it's the synchronicity of spirit telling you that this is accurate. And,
Yeah.
I do feel like all the pieces of the puzzle are going to come together one day. I mean, sometimes it may be 5 years down the road. Sometimes these things make sense later, but you can't make this up. Literally, that Mama D, you can't make it up.
Oh my God. Wow.
Well, here's the funny thing. If you want to look at synchronicities, the abbreviation for California is CA, correct?
Yeah. CA
Yeah.
Canada.
The
CA.
abbreviation for Canada is CA.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's
More
what I mean.
chills.
So instead
More
of
chills.
California, it could be Canada.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Jeez. So how are you feeling right now, Joan? What are you thinking? What's going through your mind? Because this is like craziness.
She's thinking, "Damn, my mother did it again. Escape connection."
Yeah. Are you able to do a video call, Joan? Like if I called you on Messenger?
Have you ever had, while she's dealing with Joan, Jill, have you ever had a client that you could not, for the life of you, connect with, only because, and not just because they weren't open to the connection, but you couldn't connect with them? Have you ever had that?
I've only had it a few times in all these years. 2 of the times were with children, and I brought through every other family member, and in both of them it was sons. And so, and both of them were in person. And I said, if you want to come back in a few days, let me try again. And and these were separate people. And I was able to connect to their son literally right when they sat down.
She's
so
laying
that was
down.
They wouldn't see you. Let's call. I'll call and put you on. I can call and put you on speaker.
Nobody's going to see you, Joan. It's only on Gina's phone.
Anyway, they would just see this, like a white screen. You can't see phone.
I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear her?
I can hear you too.
Okay. So I want you to talk to Jill and tell her what you're feeling right now.
I'm thinking that could have been my Aunt Lily, but my mother was not kind to me. So I don't know why she'd want to reincarnate and how do you say that? Reincarnate?
Yeah.
To come tell me anything, but I don't know.
Well, it makes even more sense, Joan, but you said she wasn't kind to you. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes. So during her life review, she would have had a lot of, guilt or feeling bad about that, and then just wanting to come back in, because that's how our souls balance the karma. And I know this is probably so bizarre for you to hear this. Maybe when you go to a different medium, how long after your mom passed did you go to the medium to try to connect?
Just a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. So she's been in spirit a while. Now, was this a good medium with good reviews? Were they able to bring through other family members for you?
No.
Okay, then definitely, find, if you want to, send me an email, I'll send you a link with some amazing mediums, because what I'm thinking is that somebody could connect with one of your other family members and then ask them if that is accurate, about your mom already reincarnating, because the aunt that was talking to me tonight, that's what she did say, that your mom is not on the other side any longer. And then she started giving me that other information. But it feels like that your mom just wanted to come back and experience life again, because and I'm getting this from your aunt right now, not from your mom. I'm not connected with your mom, but your aunt is telling me that it was like a knee-jerk reaction with your mom that she just wanted to come back and like try again, but from a different. She wanted a different sex. She wanted to be a man this time, because I hear your aunt saying that your mom felt like men had an easier life than women in a lot of ways. So she just wanted to change everything.
So maybe she just feels guilty about the way she treated you.
Yeah, that's what your aunt is saying, that your mom did have a lot of she's using the word regrets.
But she's
Yeah.
not gonna send. She's not gonna be like inside a guy that's coming to date me, right?
No. He's a baby. He's a baby. He's just trying. She, as a he,
Okay,
is now
good,
trying to just rectify, with
Yeah.
Fix
herself
his mistake.
the things that she did
Correct.
wrong. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So fix her own karma so that she can go on. But for your healing is a different story.
Yes. But I do feel like you're going to meet this little boy at some point, Joan, and this is probably one of the most far out readings I've ever done. And I apologize. It's so crazy sounding, but I do feel like you're going to meet this little boy one day, and you're just going to have a knowing. You're going to remember this, but it feels like it's a few years off.
This is wild. You never know, Joan. You just never know. So,
Yeah, you never know.
yeah,
Never
that's
say never.
crazy thing. But let me, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna get her email for you so that, you can get in touch. And, we also have psychics and stuff on this coast. So, we'll be in touch. Thanks for letting me call and talk to you.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome, Pete.
Joan.
All right, you have a good night. All right, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Yeah, well, we only have 4 minutes left, ladies.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
Wow.
3.
Well, now, okay, hold on a second. Jojo is saying, do you hear a name called Rose? That was what my grandmother's name was.
Is who hearing the name? I wasn't hearing the name. Rose. Why did Jojo hear that name?
Yeah, what's Rose to you, Jojo? Because I don't know your mom's name or who that was, but that was my grandma Rose. I really wish I knew what she was saying. Oh, she just said okay. But who was Rose, Jojo?
Her mom.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've talked to me about her, but I don't remember you ever telling me the name. That's weird. But what what a crazy show. Well, what would you like to leave our people with? Whether it's about the book, whether it's about what we just went through, I just want some great final words from you.
Yeah, the final words are, you can do and be anything that you want to be. Just know how amazing you are. And we each have such a special role to play, especially in these evolutionary times that we're in. And just know that you play a really special part in the evolution of our beautiful mother Gaia. And thank you both so much for having me on the show. It was so much fun.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here with us. And Mama, I hope you listen to that.
Me?
You.
Me?
Her final words. Yes, I want you to take those words to heart.
I am. I'm listening.
Okay. So again, Jill, you're amazing.
Thank you.
There's a lot in this book. I mean, we talked about a lot of things. I know we went off into so many different venues tonight, and what a crazy show. And I hate that the fact that we're gonna have to wait years to find out about this ending in this what a saga. But I really want you to write that final book there. Once you do, please let me know. I would definitely want to have you back on, talk about that. I definitely want to get that book over to my, little friend over there who really needs it. And in the meantime, we'll see you all next week. We're going to have Maureen St. Germain with us next week, and her ads were already up there and everything. Same links they will be for next week. And ciao for now. I hope you all have a lovely night. Mama
I'll
Dia.
behave.
Be blessed,
Yeah.
everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Behave, Jill.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.